What's going on? What's going on, guys? How you guys doing today? I hope everybody is fine. I hope you guys are okay. And today we're gonna be talking about basically the cancer capital of the United States, the US. I never know about it basically, and I just saw the content and I'm like, okay, this is actually something that could be real and could be serious. So we're gonna first react to that and to find out what is which basically how to find out how the situation is actually is, and then we're gonna go further to talk about the 12 misconception of cancer and also what is it like to actually have cancer. I've talked to it. I've talked about it. Okay, hold on. I think everything just come. All right. I've talked about this topic before, and I think it was a few weeks ago. Charlotte, a young girl, I think she was 19. She was a teenager when she had cancer, and she passed away when she was basically 19 years old. And she had basically brain cancer. So we're gonna talk about. She's gonna explain the real story about it, because a lot of the time, we might hear today we're gonna be watching. Okay, how is it like? And the stories, people might say via, or I heard this person had it, or my family member had it. But how is it like? I'm gonna take you through a journey of a young girl who actually had brain cancer. I say had because she's passed away, and basically how it was for her. And you can see she documented the entire process or throughout, meaning that when she went to chemotherapy, and basically she was given an honest, truthful, experiential level of how it is, and she actually passed away eventually. RIP to her. But we're gonna get down to this first reaction right here.
Everybody got cancer. I got throat cancer.
This is Reserve, Louisiana, the
Okay,
cancer
so first
capital
thing first is it's in Reserve, Louisiana.
of America.
Might just died like day before yesterday from cancer.
My daddy died of cancer. I hope I don't have cancer.
The EPA says the cancer risk here is almost 50 times the national average.
The plant puts people who live and work near the facility at the highest risk of developing cancer in the country.
More than 100 petrochemical plants and refineries dot this corridor between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, often referred to as Cancer Alley. Go a half-mile farther away, and the cancer rate drops significantly.
But how many people actually have cancer here, and what can be done to stop this? So I met up with Robert, an 82-year-old lifetime resident of Reserve who lives a few blocks from the plant.
I lost my mother to a weird cancer.
So I can assume most of the cancers that these people are suffering from is either lung cancer or throat cancer, as they say. But because, as you can see, it's from a power plant, or some type of industrial plant, which it has fumes. But let's see.
My brother, my other daughters had cancers. My neighbors and friends.
Robert, where are we right now?
You're in the center of Cancer Alley.
How long have you lived here?
I was born here
Hey.
in 1940. But then the petrochemical industry showed
Okay, petrochemical industry.
up.
I
They
see
treat us like we're animals or something. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, this guy who's making the documentary, he's actually, I gotta give it up to him. Like, seriously, he got, knowing the fact that people over there in this country, in this area of the country, actually have cancer, and he take it on himself to go and actually investigate it. So he's legit. And I've seen a lot of the commentaries about him as well, that he's done, and they are quite interesting.
Well, if we go up and down this community, you won't find a home here that hasn't been touched by cancer. Really, it is that bad.
Hey there. We're knocking door to door. We're trying to talk to the people that live here and ask them about Cancer Alley and see if they know anyone who's had cancer.
How you taking pictures, man? Get away from my
Oh,
house.
okay. Sorry.
Get away
Thanks
from my
much.
house.
See ya. Sorry.
I ain't got no cancer out here.
Okay. Is it like a controversial thing?
Take
No.
no pictures.
No?
No cancer. No cancer.
Stop asking.
Okay. They were pissed.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I would have went with you. I'm gonna holler at
I just want to see all them plants around here. Everybody got cancer. I got throat cancer.
you. You
I
got
don't want to be on no news.
Okay, so it is a contentious thing to talk about out here. We're getting told to f off, get the f out of here. There's a lot of sensitivity about this topic for obvious reasons. Robert told me a lot.
Facts. I mean, especially if you're dealing with such detrimental disease, which is cancer. Of course, it's not gonna be something easy to talk about. I mean, most of these people are gonna be angry. They're gonna think that it's unfair, and is a highly sensitive topic to talk about with these people. And for the fact of the matter is not to their interest. They gain nothing to with speaking with him about it. Is simply the only thing they can gain is basically an outlet to explain their frustration or their story, but not everybody really care about doing
A lot
that.
of people in reserve work for these plants or know someone that does. So speaking out on the relationship between the plant and cancer is somewhat taboo. Do you know anyone who's gotten cancer out here? Is it pretty common for people to get it out here?
Yeah. You got this plant called Deca. That's the one that's polluting all the cancer. So you might want to go
Polluting on, you mean the neighborhood?
to the last street. It's called 30th. That's where it's doing the most killing at.
Okay.
Somebody just died like day before.
Why though? Like really, why? I mean, I do understand probably it's from the this is happening because of the, how you call it, the smoke in the air, but that's the only reason, because they said throat cancer. Maybe, I really want to get down to the bottom of this to really understand why is it, like what type of cancer, first of all, these people are actually suffering from, and also why this is still happening.
Yesterday from cancer. A lot of my people died from cancer.
And these factories are the ones polluting? Okay. Thank you for your time, sir. 30th seems to be the
pollution.
epicenter. It is the closest to these factories out here. We're gonna pull up to these real quick, see who and what we can find. But before I spoke to people living on 30th, I drove to the infamous DuPont Danka plant emitting chloroprene into the air and giving the people that live nearby cancer. 4 years ago, Robert flew 7,000 miles to their headquarters in Tokyo, Japan, and tried to get answers from the executives.
some people who you know and who you represent are proud.
This is so convenient. Like for these companies, it's so convenient. They will go and have these plants in a different country and then choose to put these plants in areas that people with low income would live. And yeah, this is another way, how you call it, organized crime, but yeah, in a nice way, for example.
Profiteering off of the suffering that's being put on my people by DuPont Danka.
They returned to
Look at his face. It's like his face is so dismissive. It's like, oh, you can talk about everything you want. You're not gonna affect my pocket. Like this is like, you can see in his face. It's like utterly disgusted that this actually is happening. That this guy is talking to him. But yeah, no consequences.
Danka later told them they couldn't meet because of pending litigation.
They demonstrated to us today that they don't care about what's happening to the people in Reserve, Louisiana. I brought people on tours and I went right in the front right there, I parked, and they called the police for me. First they sent out the guard, come running out.
As we drove in undetected, I began to notice some rather ironic signs placed everywhere.
Think safe.
Think
stay
safe, stay safe from cancer that we're giving you and your family. Safety is everyone's responsibility.
This is the common comedy that they actually really, this is like playing with people's emotion, because they're saying, think about it, they're saying stay safe, everyone, it is everyone's responsibility, but it's not everyone that's actually causing this type of cancer that has actually happening to this area. It's what's actually behind this gate, not this gate, but this fence. And yeah, the fact of the matter is, this is common tactic that a lot of different organizations or companies use. They try to monetize everyone while to create more scatteredness, and it's mostly just to create to take away the distraction, or to take themselves away from the taking responsibility. Because at the end of the day, we know at this point, I mean, we are 3 minutes and almost 4 minutes, and we know exactly what's actually the common denominator.
Irony of these signs is that everyone,
I mean, is that the best they can do, really? safety first. Like, okay.
Living around this factory is getting cancer. And little did I know, the DuPont Danka plant was one of over 150 petrochemical plants along what's known as Cancer Alley, an 85-mile stretch of
Oh, wow. All right, let me move myself a bit.
land along the Mississippi River between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Environmentalists refer to Cancer Alley as a sacrifice zone, but DuPont Danka claims
The company says the EPA's chloroprene concerns are based on faulty science, resulting in a dramatically inflated risk factor.
surrounding this entire city we see factories right now.
Look at this horrible thing right here, man. This is our grain elevator.
Wow. I mean, are there people living as close to these factories as possible? Because the next argument, they're going to say these factories are providing jobs. Of course, they're going to provide jobs. This is not the issue that people are, that's actually people's concern. The concern is that these plants are not practicing some sort of environmental friendly or CSR type of practices, because at the end of the day, these people who are close by, who live nearby the plant, are actually suffering from it, and they are the closest one to be in danger. But what about the planet as a whole? And they don't really care.
They do import and exports of grains.
And this also pollutes the environment.
Oh, terribly so. It's what's called grain dust.
That contaminated water right there, could I drink from it?
No, you can't drink from the city water here. We don't drink the water here.
What? So you live in your country that you cannot drink the water. This is tap water.
We buy water.
What the hell? Drinking water source and Cancer Alley full of PFAS, or whatever that is.
Could I take a shower out here? Do people get
Well, that's the one thing that we're worried about, because we can't find a way to take a shower. We've got a shower in this water. And this is the one plant that
This is one thing that I find comical when it comes to these things, like when it comes to this topic, because a lot of the time they will say, in some countries they will say you cannot drink the water, but yet you can shower with it. But at the end of the day, we have pores in our body, small openings. Whatever that we put in our skin or that come into contact with our skin, it penetrates through our pores and also in our bloodstream. So I don't understand they don't have no clean water to shower with, to do anything with. You cannot cook with it. Basically, this water, the only thing you can do with it, maybe you can even water your plants with it. Because I'm trying to think, what can you do with this type of water? Because it's already dirty, it's filthy, and it's contaminated. What can be done with this type of water, actually? You cannot, maybe for construction, but the fact of the matter is, it depends on the type of chemicals that are in there, because some chemicals can last for ages, and with temperature changes, it can evaporate or basically just seep out into the atmosphere, which causes another problem again. So, and again, the sad reality of this is not a third world country. This is a first world country. This is the USA.
telling you that producers ain't known carcinogens. There's just so many of them. And they're right next door to what is called Nalco chemical, which is an entirely different chemical.
What are we in front of right now? I'm feeling a little burn in the eyes.
This is an aluminum factory, and this horrible stuff you see here pervades this whole community.
What health effects is this aluminum known to have on people?
That they're quiet about that.
They're quiet about it.
All right, let's see. They're quiet about what are the hazards of aluminum factory. Aluminum can affect you when breathed in. Contact can irritate the skin and eye. Exposure to aluminum can cause metal fume fever. This is a flu-like illness with symptoms of metallic taste in the mouth, headache, fever, and chills, aches, chest tightness, and coughing. So whatever that is, this entire thing is not a good story. This entire thing is not good news.
I can taste something in the air right now. Feel it burn my eyes a little bit. Factories everywhere. Seeing all of these plants pollute the air, water, and soil with various carcinogens, you might be wondering,
Why haven't you moved?
Why should I move? How can I move? I struggled all my life to build this. What is happening in Americans, a poor person right now in good conscience, who would I actually sell this house to?
Exactly. This is exactly the problem that that the people are dealing with. Because of course you would expect them the easiest thing to say, move, the easiest thing to say. I mean, people will always think, that some decisions are so easy to make. The fact of the matter is, the reason why it's becoming a problem in that area, the reason why these people are actually finding it a problem is because they cannot move, because the ones that could move, they move already. And again, how can he move if you don't have nothing? And where would he go? I mean, to move means you have to have another place for you to actually go to. And when you have another place to, or if you don't have another place to go to, you need some form of resource. You need money to actually be able to, to perhaps rent or purchase a new accommodation.
What poor, unsuspecting family would I trick into moving into this debt trap?
And to add insult to injury, Robert lived here before the plants were even built.
In 1963, I noticed the construction. We could see the construction going on when we passed on the highway right there. But we knew nothing about it. No, they never talked to us formally. We saw the white residents moving out. We didn't know why.
And how did they know?
Because they told them. I had to move my wife out. My wife is living in Anaheim, California with my youngest son. My baby daughter got this very rare disease that her doctors told her was brought on by her lifelong exposure to chloroprene. I had to move. She's in New Orleans. The disease she got is so rare. It's terrible, man.
Yeah. And people still.
And this is the thing too. At the end of the day, some companies would look at the rare disease that his daughter actually get and be somewhat not happy, I would say, like triggered in a way, like they would say interesting, because they will see another way to actually gain, to get money, to basically try to create a new form of drug or a new form of medication to combat this rare disease. Because a lot of the time we ask, or you might ask yourself, okay, they might name a disease that basically completely unknown to us. And this is the reason why this is one of the cause or the source of these illnesses that are happening, because of different chemicals that are being created, and our body just basically is completely foreign to our body, and our body have to react in a certain way. So throughout the process of our body actually fighting it, or rather losing the fight, it turns into something that is completely unknown to us. And the fact of the matter is, these chemicals are also unknown to the body, because it's not the natural state of our body to actually interact with these chemicals that they are letting in the air or in the environment.
Live here to my left right now.
There are some people that have moved in here.
And look at that, boom, factory. Wow. What is that factory?
Yeah, these factories, they need to pay these people to actually move out, and not just pay them whatever that these factories think, that these people worth, or whatever left over that they have to actually pay these people. They should really take care of this, because this is a terrible, publicity for these companies, because like seriously, they don't have no social responsibility, and not in terms of the environment. First of all, the people they are actually, causing these issues to, and the people they are, lives they are taking away, and at the same time, the environmental impact they are causing as well.
Right there.
That's Marathon Oil.
That's an oil refinery.
Second largest in the United States.
There's a
second largest in the big second largest, and they cannot find a sustainable solution to this issue.
Few homes as we're driving through.
Wow.
Seems insane to live wedged in between two factories. All this pollution from all ends. It's got to dramatically reduce your lifespan. I can smell a much stronger smell in the air. Closest comparison.
My boy, did he just take a deeper breath? Like he just take a deeper inhale. Like this man.
Is what I tasted and felt in Ohio when the train wreckage spilled a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Hey there. Just want to ask, do you ever have difficulty breathing out here?
We breathe all the pollen and dust.
Okay. Is there any history of cancer with your family or anyone who's lived with you?
My mama had breast cancer.
Did she live here?
Yeah. Got a little brother that died of.
But one thing we have to be honest about is that not all the cancers that people are gonna be suffering from are gonna be caused by these factories that are in the area. Because again, in the normal cases, if everything, if these factories were not around, people still develop cancers. So not all type of cancers are to be blamed on these companies, but again,
Leukemia.
Do you feel like they're responsible for the cancer?
Or the chemicals, I guess.
Don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. Hey, how are you? I was wondering if you knew anyone who's had cancer out here.
My neighbor has skin cancer.
Skin cancer?
Yeah. Took over all his face.
Do you think it's because of the factories around here?
I have no idea. Cancer is everywhere. Everybody has cancer.
Have you lived here your whole life?
Oh yeah. We moved here when I was a baby, and I'm 76.
I wouldn't have thought a day over 50.
my boy. Hey, wait. My boy was just hitting the race. I mean, it's always good to bring, a smile in somebody's face.
How is it living in between these two factories?
Oh, we have dust.
Dust?
Dust.
Okay.
Ooh, I think that's why we got cancer. I hope I don't have cancer.
No, me too. Has any of your family members had anything?
My dad died of cancer.
Would you move out of here if you could?
Oh no.
No, this is home?
I'm gonna die.
Cynthia, it's been a pleasure. It was great to meet you.
Oh, your hands are cold.
I know, I'm chilly. The consensus is everyone out here knows someone, if not their family member, neighbor, or themselves who's gotten cancer out here. This is kind of crazy.
And keep in mind, this isn't even the street closest to the Danka factory where people are most affected by cancer.
Oh, really?
Speaking of companies that exploit you for profit, I recently found out I was still being charged $50 a month for an Netflix and Hulu Rocket Money. And after a few taps, they were all giving Rocket Money. Now I'm spending like me save. If you want to save more, let's go back on the ground and see who else has been affected by Cancer Alley. As we made our way to 30th, Robert pointed out a huge graveyard wedged in between two factories.
Whoa, there it is. And you have loved ones in this cemetery?
Oh, all of my folks are. This is the largest black cemetery in the parish. Look at this. How do you do a funeral service here? How you do a burial? Look at what they do to people, man. Look how inhuman this is. Do you see the size of this cemetery?
Dang, they better off cremated, actually.
Man.
This is sad. Wow, you can smell it big time now, Robert. This is pretty dystopian. This is a nightmare, honestly. As we're here, is this an emotional experience? Do you get frustrated?
It's always emotional.
Yeah.
My mom, all of my family, they're just a little further back in here, but they're scattered mostly all over here, man. But see what people have started doing. Look, they're building on top.
Oh, these are two coffins on top of one another.
They got to stack them. We're the sacrificed peoples. We're the sacrificial lambs. Yeah.
And the most tragic irony here is a lot of these people died due to the cancer received from the factories they are now wedged in between after death.
We're headed to 30th and 31st. This is the part of town that lives the closest to this factory and is logically getting the most cancer. We're gonna drive through here, knock on some doors, see who we can talk to. Seems like everyone and their mother out here is getting cancer, and there's not much you can do about it.
On my way to 30th, driving through factory after factory, I saw this street full of people on my way and gave it a quick knock.
We wanted to ask you if you knew anything about Cancer Alley. Do you know people that have gotten cancer out here?
My husband has prostate cancer.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm not from here, but I know a lot of people that.
Okay.
I mean, like, many.
We're basically just trying to hear any opinions and experiences with cancer out here in Cancer Alley.
Only thing I'm gonna tell you is
Okay.
my sister,
Yeah.
she died of cancer.
She died?
She died March 8th of 2023 of this year.
I'm sorry to hear.
Cancer.
So we've noticed it's very controversial to talk about this out here. Is it a sensitive subject?
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
because we lose so many people. In my family just alone, we done lost 12 people.
That's crazy.
Wow. 12 people due to cancer.
Easy. How does the city look at cancer out here? Are they fed up with it? Are they
Fed up.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around, we losing somebody to cancer.
Do the factories and the companies ever say, hey, here's some money, sorry about that?
No.
No?
No.
Do you think the factories will ever shut down?
No, not Marathon. Marathon would never.
It's too big?
Too big. But them, they can close down.
Denka?
Yeah, Denka can close down because the things we see at night, you can smell it in the air.
I can kind of taste it, yeah.
Yeah, you can. Like I said, I just lost my only sister
Yeah.
of March of this year. My sister was living on 30th Street.
Okay. So the closer you get to 30th, the closer you are to the
You're in
factories.
a backyard. You're in a backyard
Okay.
of the plants and everything.
Having walked through a few streets leading up to 30th, we had finally made it to the zone theoretically most affected by chloroprene and, in turn, cancer. We're the closest to the factory on this street right here. You guys know anyone who's got cancer out here?
Everybody you look at.
Really?
Yeah.
What? So it's so common in that area that everybody is like, I mean, as much as these people are not so related, I'm not sure if they are related, but because I'm seeing he's driving from one place from one place to another, and everybody is all basically saying the same thing. Everybody in that area is known for dying of some type of cancer.
Right here? The tarp? Okay. Thank you so much. Hey, sorry to interrupt. And we're making a little documentary about Cancer Alley. You know anyone who's gotten cancer out here?
This household, that household, that household, the one up further.
They all do?
Yeah. And nothing's been done about it for 50 years, so. Seed is already planted, it's in the ground, all my trees are dead.
So it's too late almost to...
Yeah.
Yeah?
My parents had cancer 3 times.
Did they link it to...
Breast cancer, which was inherited, then she had colon cancer, then she died from ovarian cancer at
89 though.
89 years old.
Jeez, okay. Thank you for sharing.
My brother, yeah, he died though.
Of cancer?
Yeah, I know a few people that done died of cancer. My niece, a good bit of people.
Is it something that's talked about out here?
Yeah, kind of swept under the rug.
Did your brother live on this street?
He used to live here. Matter of fact, he worked at that plant.
He worked at the plant?
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever think that they had any influence on him getting cancer?
Can't really say.
Okay.
Don't bother me. I've been here since I was 7 years old.
Okay.
Okay, now we have an outlaw. I was waiting for this because I was checking. I was thinking, okay, out of all of these people who are telling, you know, the most their nightmare story, there will be somebody who's like, yeah, it doesn't affect him. But let's hear what he's gonna say about
Do you think it's overblown, the fear of what the factories are doing?
I kind of think it is overblown. To me, it don't bother. I like my spot. My dad built this and he died from like prostate cancer.
Do you think that may have been influenced by the factory?
No.
This is some evil corporate right here. It's a subtle massacre at play, done through the air, the water, and the soil. After knocking on nearly every door in 30th, I finally met someone besides Robert who is at least trying to fight back. Do you know anyone that's gotten cancer by chance?
Well, for sure.
Yeah?
Everybody around here has gotten cancer. And so that's why I've joined the fight, because of what, it's not us saying it, it's either we're going to believe the government or we're going to believe these guys. By the time we find out things, it's too late. But I'm in a group called Concerned Citizen of St. John Parish.
We spent the day with Robert.
Yeah, Bobby Taylor.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to the bottom of this, you know. We won't be able to wait on the federal government. It takes so much longer for them to prove something that's very detrimental to our health.
That may be too late by the time they prove it.
Yes.
I think that the factories should pay some sort of like reparations for the people it's given cancer to.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's on the back burner.
Yeah.
The forefront is to get the the environment.
Sure. And you guys obviously to be safe and healthy.
Yes. I mean, not only for us, but the next generation.
Sure.
Generations to come.
Do you think you guys will be successful?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've seen some results. I mean, as you can see now, I mean, look at the attention that it's brought.
Do you think if the community rallied together, they could halt what they're doing over there, or is it unstoppable?
I think we can, but then again, we're facing a big plant.
Sure.
But I think we can. We get together, we rally. I think we can do it.
Okay. It seemed.
But how though? Because how most people wouldn't do it, because most people in that area, I would assume that most people in that area live and work and these plants. So it's not like they're gonna go and try to fight against their own pockets, basically, even though people are actually passing away. But a lot of them, this is like a lot of them, they have to, basically live. They need to pay the bills. And if they work in these companies, definitely they wouldn't go against it.
Like the worst was behind Cancer Alley and a brighter future was ahead, until you learn that companies are working to build even more factories out here.
This little community here of Wallace, I think it's got about 850 people.
And they want to put what here?
They want to put a gigantic grain elevator.
Okay, another one.
Another grain elevator.
Ruin these people's lives now too.
Yeah, can you imagine this little community here with that thing sitting right here? That thing gonna be almost 300 feet tall.
If they were to put this granary right here, what would happen to your home? How would it impact you?
More than likely, if they did put the plant there, we would probably have to end up moving out of the area. And, no one wants to leave the home. I mean, I've been here like 56 years, and we're trying to prevent this from happening.
If a plant were to end up in this guy's backyard, his property value would dramatically decrease overnight. And who would he sell the house to in good conscience, assuming anyone would even want to buy it? And with more factories being built, more jobs are being made. And these people
that's another thing.
might need a new place to live. By new, I mean brand new.
Robert, final phase selling now. They're building more homes. Why?
Most of the people who they are aiming at are from out of town, so they're too familiar with what's going on here.
Do you think they're at risk?
These companies, I mean, you gotta admit, they are pretty crafty at basically what they are doing, because now they are creating new homes, new accommodation. Final phase selling now new accommodation for people outside of these areas, who don't, basically outside of this bubble, outside of this problematic bubble, and trying to attract them for new work perspective. That could mean a majority of the time they could use these foreigners or immigrants rather for this sort of type of work. And it's gonna take them, of course, maybe minimum when they move in and they start working at these companies, they're gonna take at least a minimum of 10 years, until they actually figure out there's a problem with this area. But again, some people might talk about it, but even though the people might talk about it, but still, these people who are gonna move in these new houses rather, they will be so ecstatic, so happy about the new changes and the new lifestyle. They might at first, it's gonna be hard for them to actually really take it in that these things are so bad. They will want to find out themselves, because as people we are so hard-headed sometimes. So they will definitely want to find out themselves and just like go with the flow, or basically just be so happy that okay, this is what's they have a new accommodation and they have a new job and in a different city, and perhaps that area is basically not so expensive considering all the toxicity and that area. So it's something, I don't know if he's gonna make a number 2. Let's say when these people move in, let's say in a couple of years now, maybe you're gonna let's say interview them, but we will see.
Higher than someone else?
Well, certainly if they're living in this area.
Is that something that would be disclosed to them upon purchasing the home, you think?
No.
This is evil, honestly. Disclose this at the very least. Come on. Kids riding their bikes by me. Kind of sad, right?
Remember I told you about the 0.2? That was at a 70-year risk of living. Children today, born today, are reaching that 70-year level by the time they are 2 years old.
What? That's insanity. Look at that, for sale, all these brand new homes, the brand new residential community right in Cancer Alley. It's kind of evil. They're building, people are moving in here. If you do know, you probably don't want to acknowledge that you're in Cancer Alley. What will it take for all these companies to stop putting their factories here?
For the people to be able to stand up, be able to exercise their rights. They come here primarily because we're the low-hanging fruit, which means we're the most vulnerable group. Black people are the poorest people here. We got 400-year history here. We're still at the bottom. They're aware of everything that this plant is doing and what it can only lead to, but they're not doing anything about it. They got the power to tell that plant, no, you can't do that. That's against human nature. That's against humanity.
Yet it's important to know that DuPont...
Yeah, but that's considering that they have humanity for you, because a lot of the time we expect, I mean, if you see a problem, you want to solve a problem, you got to solve your own problem. That's what it really comes down to. Because a lot of the time we cannot expect other people to come solve a problem for us that's not affecting them. So I understand what he's saying, but again, you gotta be the one to solve your own problem. But at this point, this is an old man. You know, the fight, there's not much fight in him, because again, he's old, he's frail, and yeah, it's so sad because, you know, that he has, you know, these people actually have to go through with this type of evil treatment. But again, if they really want to make a stand, perhaps they want to do something that is quite drastic to actually get attention from the entire country, rather than just the county or just the location that they are limited to. They need to make a big noise. And we almost there.
Danca is the only facility in the US that produces chloroprene. This chloroprene is then synthesized into a rubber known as neoprene. Neoprene is found in use in rubber gloves, laptop sleeves, electrical insulation, orthopedic braces, etc. If we didn't buy things made out of neoprene, the plant producing neoprene wouldn't even exist. Well,
but okay, I understand what type of conversation or his thought pattern gonna go. But it's like, people, we need these things, and if we don't need them, we like to have these things. Let's say, for example, a phone case, because he was showing more of rubbery or elastic type of things. It's nice to have these things, so that's not the issue. But let me hear how he's gonna finish it off.
It's easy to point fingers at corporations and call them evil, while we're the ones wearing a shirt made from a child sweatshop in China while watching this video from our lithium-ion battery-powered cell phone.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, sometimes we are not so although we are the one who's consuming these products, or we are using these products, but a lot of the time they are not basically, for example, if my phone cover was made from that area, or basically the raw material came from that area, they're not gonna label it, this material came from that area specifically. We don't get the full story of whatever product we always buy, not all the time. So putting that on us, okay, we are the one who are consuming it, is because of us. But the fact of the matter is, we have to ask who actually let this happen, because there's legislators who basically gave it a go or a no-go. But at the end of the day, whatever that is made possible or made available in the market, it has to be given a go or a no-go. And that's not really us, basically. Although I understand what he's saying, although some things are, we shouldn't buy them because of such circumstances they are being made. But again, we don't know that, or majority of the time we don't know that. So, and at the same time, we are not the one who's making the decision, like really how to basically make a decision of putting it in the market or accepting it to be in the market. I think this is the basic, attacking or basically focusing on the end, which is what he's doing right now. The end consumer is not good enough. It's not a good argument. It's not, I understand it's an argument because, okay, we are the one to buy it, but because there's a lot of different commodities that, they try to put the responsibility on the consumer. But what about, the okay givers? What about the manufacturers, the one who are actually doing these type of activities? So it's easy to blame it on the end customer. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't available in the first place, or if there was a more sustainable method available, which we also have no control over, whether their processes, we just we do the simple part, which is just spending money or select which type of because right now he was showing some of the products. Select, let's say for your phone, we just select which type of phone that we want, and then we pay our money and then we go. That's the easiest part. But again, what about before? It's not us who are making this decision. I hope this actually is clear.
Made using cobalt, mined using child slaves in Africa. Who's really to blame for all of this?
Yeah. So soon you're gonna say it's the child in Africa who's gonna be blamed from this.
While it's poor black people in Louisiana for now, maybe next week it'll be you and your family. Also, whoever has the most viewed.
Yeah. Well, again, I understand what he's saying again, but it's if we know if somebody, I mean, if we have to start dashing out blame, we already know who the blames ought to be dashing out, because again, something that is anything or almost everything that is legally in the market need to get a legal stamp of approval to be in the market. That doesn't come from us. We are basically the one who just basically go and shop around and see what is available, and we choose what we want. That's it. So I mean, nice documentary at the end, and the decision makers are the one who basically, if blames are to be dashed out, they are the one who's supposed to actually get the blames, because they are the one who's, you know, giving the green light into this this type of activity. But again, moving on, we're gonna switch gear for a moment, because now we took a look at basically the companies who manufacturing companies who are polluting the environment, and more importantly the people. And I mean, you know, that's one part of it too, because you're not really focusing on the environmental aspect. Let's say, for example, the natural habitat in that area, you know, what is common of them? Because I've seen there was a canal or something, or a river, Mississippi River. And what about the fishes that are there? You know, all of that. I mean, are we gonna blame the fishes also for, you know, are we gonna blame the local animals, the local not nature is not nature reserve anymore, because they are not being reserved, but the animals that live there, are we gonna blame them too? Let's say, for example, if they eat whatever grass that is in the area, and it's like these grass are polluted, are we gonna blame them? Seriously? So basically now we're gonna look at the 12 misconceptions of cancer patients, and this is Charlotte Aids. Again, she's gonna talk about her experience, the 12 misconceptions of having cancer, which I'm not fluent in everything, but let's take a look at
Guys, I'm
this.
back today with a video which is, I can't really think of like what to title it, because it's one that is, I just can't put a title on it basically, but it's going to be like sort of top 10 things that are like the most annoying things you can say to cancer patients, and like some misconceptions and like some sort of facts that people don't really know about cancer, because I just thought that it would be quite interesting to share them with you all. You may have had somebody diagnosed, you may have cancer yourself, and you may be able to relate to these, or you may just have an illness in general and be able to relate to them. So I'm going to get started. So the first, I've got 10 points here, by the way. The first point is that a lot of people think that you lose your hair to all types of chemotherapy. As you can see, I am an example that this is not true. Only some chemotherapies make you lose your hair. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So somebody can have cancer and still have hair. And then the second point, which really annoys me, and I have had it a couple of times, is that people think that because your hair is growing back, you're all fine and that's it. That's not the case. I have still got my brain tumour and spinal tumours, so it's certainly not the case. Yeah, basically just that if somebody's hair's growing back, it doesn't mean that they're cured or whatever. So yeah, thought I'd just say that. Sorry, I keep looking down, I have it on my notepad. I also have like a point that I just want to make because it really annoys me. I've actually got a disabled badge, and whenever I get it out in front of people that don't know me very well, they're like, why do you have a disabled badge? Like, you're not disabled, like you're not physically disabled. The reason that I have that is because...
Yeah, these people clearly don't understand. They only look at disabled in a one dimension, just the physicality. They don't, you know, I mean, basically it's like her legs, for example, have to be literally broken or amputated or whatever, you know. They have to see the physical disability in order for them to understand, okay, that, or to identify the person as disabled. But again, there's different form of disabilities, the ones that you can see and the ones that you cannot see.
When I have my chemotherapy, it makes me very tired, and it's quite difficult to walk for like long distances and stuff. So I have a disabled badge for parking, and whenever I sit down on the bus, and I usually sit in the disabled seats, just because I like to sit on the bottom floor, and some of them are like, say, you know, if there's somebody disabled, you know, go up your seat or whatever. And sometimes when it's really busy buses, well, mainly elderly people in general will look at me in like a really disgusting manner, like I'm clearly not disabled, and
Yeah. People and their mindset. They're always trying to project their be very judgmental, project their whatever. Just projecting. That's why sometimes a lot of the time it just don't even. I know a friend, and he basically a lot of the time some people will come to him, or some people will come to me rather, and they will say, hey, I saw your friend the other day. I thought we were friends, me and him. But now when I see him on the street, he just walks straight as if he didn't see me at all. And for some reason, I can say hello to him and he's not gonna hear me because he have his AirPods in. And many people have told me the story. But the fact of the matter is, when I address it, when I bring this thing to this friend, and when I was telling him, hey, yo, like what's going on with such and such, you know, why are you ignoring Adam, for example? And he said, Adam, like I didn't see Adam. And I'm like, wow. Adam said he saw you, he said hello to you, but you never replied, you just ignore him and you just continue walking. And then he was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm a type of person, when I'm out in the streets, I don't try to look at people. I don't try to have eye contact. He just basically focus, keep his eyesight exactly where he's going, or he's looking down, or basically the main point of this is that he's trying not to have any form of interaction with people. And then for me, that was kind of like, okay, and like, you know, that's his way. I was like, it caught me and I was like thinking, hey, this is like kind of not what I'm used to, because for me, on the other hand, when I'm outside, I'm trying to observe my surrounding, trying to see, okay, what's going on. And I was telling him this, and I'm like, okay, wow, this is the first time I hear this. But then I started to understand, because the same thing that Charlotte is going through, I'm not saying that it's happening to me, but the fact of the matter is, the thing is that people will just be looking at you and then judging you. And then when you notice that they are judging you, because you can see it in their faces, their smirky faces, and when you see that, you're like, okay, you can have it in your mind, just constantly thinking, okay, what's wrong with this person? Or why is this person looking at me that way? And blah, 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 trying to process it. But then I'm like noticing that, okay, these people don't mean nothing to me. And they will never mean nothing to me. And these people probably seen them once and I will never see them again. So although they are being, I'm occupying so much space in their mind or in their feelings or in their thoughts, I shouldn't try to, I should just basically ignore it. I should basically just like keep my focus where I'm going and just let it fly, because it doesn't apply. Because a lot of the time we tend to be, we try to, when people give us these stares or these judgmental looks, we can basically try to internalize it a lot, while these people don't mean shit to us. So this is the reason why I'm actually, I understand what she means.
I'm taking up somebody's space and stuff, and it hasn't happened yet, but I am just waiting for the moment for somebody to say to me, why are you sitting in that seat? You're not even disabled. And I'm just going to get my blue badge out and just be like, actually, yeah. I am. And
I thought she was going to turn the Hulk. I thought she was going to be like,
oh. Yeah, hold them. You could be with them.
I thought she was gonna go to Hulk.
I've got cancer. but that opportunity hasn't come.
Yeah, but when she said this to this person, whoever that person is, that person's gonna feel like ish, like seriously, because imagine that, you're trying to be a good citizen, or trying to keep everything normal, and then you're gonna go and annoy somebody and just ask them, hey, why are you sitting in this seat? It's not supposed to be your seat, leave it to somebody who's actually disabled, and then come to find out there's a badge in your face, there's a badge, and then they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Like, I understand why some people can do that, but sometimes you just gotta, like, mind your own business.
Around, yeah, but yeah, that's something that annoys me a lot, is when, like, I'm in a disabled parking space or whatever, and people just automatically think I'm not disabled. My point number 4 is when people say to me, you don't look like you have cancer, you look really well, and like they sort of think I'm lying. I've had a couple of situations where the people on the street that try to get you to like sign petitions and like sign up for things, and there was one that was for like hearing, and I said to the person who I was speaking to, who asked me, I said, well, actually I'm half deaf, and then he was like, oh right, and I said, because I have cancer, I lost my hearing to that, and then he sort of looked at me, and I think he thought that I was lying, which is really bad, obviously. But yeah, the fact that people just say like, but you don't look like you have cancer. Well, I do. You don't need to look like you have cancer to have cancer.
Yeah, they probably think that a person who has cancer need to look like somebody who's in the thumbnail of this video. They probably think, okay, it's supposed to be somebody who looks like that.
The 5th point is, this is more of a fact. So I had a seizure September 2013, and I was banned from starting to learn to drive for 2 years. So this September I'm allowed to start driving. But yeah, I thought I'd just throw that out there, that if you have a seizure, you're banned from driving for 2 years, which is really annoying.
But I understand. Like, I mean, I'm with you, Charlotte. I've been with you, but again, that part is understandable, because you don't want to be driving you can put other people's life in danger, not only yours, but other people's lives in danger if you happen to have a seizure while you're behind the wheel. So I understand basically it sucks, it's annoying, but again, it's for a better cause.
The 6th point is about travel insurance and how much it goes up in price if you have not just cancer, any illness, any serious illness. It's so irritating, because I was planning to go to America, and the insurance, they said, they didn't actually give a price in the end, but it was something just astronomical, like ridiculous. And because of it, I'm not going to go to America now, because it's just so much money compared to a normal, insurance company. I think they may rip you off a little bit too. Yeah,
it's all a scam, because think about it. You've been paying, I mean, if you're in a lot of these Western countries, you've been paying for your health insurance on a monthly basis or yearly basis, or every half of month, whichever that you choose. And a lot of the time you don't end up using it. Basically, you're not going to the doctor or to the office, to the hospital every month. But yeah, the moment that something is actually happening, they're like, oh, something is wrong, you have an issue, or a health concern, or basically she have cancer. And yeah, they raise the price. They basically they see her as basically a cash cow, because again, if she wants to travel, then she better, in some ways, even though she's been paying or her parents been paying their insurance, in which they haven't been using it, regardless, because you have to pay it. It's by law that you have to pay, and in some countries it's by law. And yeah, they don't care whenever it's like
anyway, each to their own.
It's an L.
7th point is, it's again, it's sort of like a fact. People call cancer patients that are on steroids moon face, because literally when I was on steroids I gained I think 3 or 4 stone. I went from 8 stone something to like 11 stone something in the space of about a month.
Okay, wow. 8 stone to 11. Okay, I'm not really versed in the stones, but think about it like gaining weight fast. Basically, I saw some of her videos. Again, she gained weight, regained fat in just a matter of a month.
Which was just awful. I couldn't fit into any of my clothes. I was just totally upset. I hated it. And yeah, that's just a fact that if you take certain steroids that you've been put on, your face just swells up. It just, I do have some photos. I may be able to insert them. I probably won't. I'm not that good at editing, but yeah, your face just totally swells up, and yeah, it's called a moon face. The next one is point number 8, and that is again another fact. I already made a video on this post-traumatic stress, but a lot of people that have experienced cancer or any sort of dramatic illness or anything do tend to get post-traumatic stress because everything's been a massive roller coaster and non-stop and appointments and doctors and whatever, and then suddenly when it all starts to slow down, you just sort of sit there and you think like, whoa, like that was just crazy. And yeah, so that's really common in people. The next one is number 9, and it's sort of similar to the one where I said about you look so normal. Lots of people think that like you have to look really ill to have cancer, and when I was really ill, I did look extremely ill. But it's kind of annoying because people sort of just like look at me and are just like, but you don't look like you have cancer, as I said earlier, you know. Yeah, it's just sort of going back to my previous point, but yeah. And then the last, I have 2 more actually, is 11 points. The next one is that I have to have blood tests weekly, and it's so irritating.
Oh, wow. I'm just here sitting down listening to her story. And when you think about it, the worst part about having cancer maybe it's not the dying part, really, because the dying part, you know, you just do that once, or it happens to you once, and then it's over. The worst part is what you go through. Actually, this all roller coaster of all the things that you have to go through, and all of this basically is like it's a freaking nightmare. Dang.
To have a nurse come around to the house and do my bloods for me weekly because I need to keep an eye on them, and it's just it only takes about 5 minutes, but it really sort of does prevent me from doing stuff that I want to do. And like, I can't stay around people's houses if I have bloods the next day because I need to be back really early, and it's just really annoying. So I think that might be quite common for a lot of illnesses, that you have to have blood tests quite frequently. And then my last point is about tablets. When I was first like diagnosed, I had to be put on 50 tablets a
50
day.
Imagine this, bro. Imagine this. There are some people who don't even like drinking tablets. There are people who can even swallow tablets, or else the moment that it gets in their throat, they're gonna gag and they're gonna basically puke. But like 50 per day.
It was crazy. It really was. I just remember having this little cup of like 25 tablets, I think, because every day I tried to see how many I could swallow in one go. And I think I got possibly 25, 30 tablets in one go. But yeah, that was just crazy. And just in case you wanted to know, I'm now on 11 tablets a day, which is still a lot. Like,
yeah.
You know, I have them in the morning when I first wake up, and then at 12 o'clock, and then at 4 o'clock. And it's annoying when you don't have any water or anything with you. But yeah, I just sort of wanted to make this video just because I thought it might be quite interesting, and also sort of partly things not to say to a cancer patient. One more point, actually. One thing that you should never say to a cancer patient, because it will just annoy the hell out of them, is when they say, like, if a cancer patient or somebody says, like, I'm losing my hair, even somebody with alopecia, I'm losing my hair, and then people say, yeah, but it will grow back. It's like, you're totally missing the point. The point is that right now I haven't got any hair and it's not growing back. So you saying that is just going to irritate me, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of people that sent me texts and things like that, and I was just like, but you don't get it. Like, you've never lost your hair. And I know that people say it in the, in the nicest way to try and be helpful, but it's really not helpful, I have to be honest. So yeah, that was my 12 points that I wanted to make. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, I did, Charlotte. Thank you. And yeah, I do understand for both sides because you don't know basically how to respond, or somebody basically they might say, oh, it's gonna grow again, trying to give you hope, but again, still suck. I mean, maybe the best way to actually respond to a person who's actually losing their hair, or who's basically maybe who's lost something or in their body, for example, or whichever it is. And if anybody is dealing with a health concern, yeah, I understand you try to instill hope in the person. Maybe just hear it and just try to empathize. Say it's terrible, it's hard, that's messed up, that's effed up, that sucks, that, And if when they realize, okay, you keep saying this thing over and over again, then you can explain to them, say, hey, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't know what to actually say in order to not basically make you feel that you are being attacked or hurting your feelings. Perhaps you can tell me what to say, but I don't want to beyond that. Or perhaps you can help me out here, but I don't want to sound basically insensitive, because again, these people, when you have a health condition, I mean, these people, like for her, for example, she had to deal with so many things. Not only that she has the cancer itself, not only that she knows the fact and every day in her mind that she think about she's gonna die, and the other things that she's going through, and other people, people who just basically don't know how to communicate. But again, we went to school, but school didn't really teach us that really. I mean, some of us can say, yeah, it did, but didn't really. The majority of us are not really good communicators or actually trying to relate to people. But again, majority of us did also went to school. So moving on, I think this is the last one.
Hi guys.
Charlotte, again, she's gonna say what it's like to have cancer. I think maybe it might be repetitive. If it is, I'm gonna end the stream.
Guys, I am back today with a new video, and today is a Sunday, and I've just come back from being in town and had a look at the shops and things. And I wanted to make a extra special video today, and it's going to be titled What It's Like to Have Cancer. I'm just gonna kind of give you guys an insight into what my life is like having cancer. I'm gonna start off with what happens when I wake up every morning. So I wake up, and first of all, I say thank you because I'm still alive for another day. Living with cancer and having cancer is like living on a knife edge. Just in a split second, it could all go wrong. The tumours could start growing. Like, horrific things. That's why I'm sort of struggling to say this, because it's all still extremely possible. Even in my case, when I've been doing so well, it's just horrific because
again, she's in her teens. She passed away and she was at 19, basically. She's probably 16, 15 here.
Even though you're trying to deal with daily life anyway, and then having cancer on top of it makes it so difficult.
Yeah.
And as I said, you're living on a knife edge. You don't know if things could turn for the worst. I could potentially, if my tumours started to grow, I could be dead in 2 weeks. It's just so difficult for someone who maybe hasn't ever had cancer in their family, or who hasn't really been that close to home with cancer. I just kind of wanted to let people know, because I felt it was quite important for my YouTube channel to have a video like this.
Facts.
Because this is kind of a massive insight into my life, and I also wanted to share with you some of the struggles that I have, which is extremely frustrating. So, as I said, obviously having cancer, you don't feel normal, but also certain things make you not normal. And the first one I'm going to mention is, if you want to go on holiday to like have a break from everything, from your cancer or actually any illness in general, you will know that insurance costs a hell of a lot of money. And I recently wanted to go away with my boyfriend, and we were planning to go away to the USA to go and...
Okay, well, we just watched this, and let me see if she talks about it
home
continuously.
But that was so frustrating, and we've planned... Sorry, that was the cat. And we've planned to go away to Disney at some point.
Yeah, I mean, she cannot... It's hard for her to have, some fun.
Just even going to Paris, we were worried about that because...
Okay, I think this is clear.
So that's the first thing, and then I would have to say the second thing about having cancer or having an illness is you can't take any risks, and you have to be practical all the time. You can't really have that much fun carelessly. Your mind is, you always have this mindset that you need to be sensible, and that becomes extremely frustrating, especially for someone my age, you know, young, wild and free. It's really, really difficult, and I don't really know where I'm going with this video, but I just, as I said, I just felt that it was appropriate to possibly make a video that's, you know, this is my life. It's just, it's so difficult on a daily basis living with cancer, and some days it will hit you really hard, and you know, you have your good days and your bad days like any other normal human being, but sometimes you just say to yourself, why can't I just be normal for even just a couple of minutes? And it's not just me, it's my family as well, you know. It's always on their mind 24/7. The minute they wake up, the cancer's there, the same as...
And this is the fact of the matter is, because, again, we see in her, basically she's telling her story of what she's going through. But again, what about the stories of what her parents, her family, her boyfriend is going through? Because this is a, you know, it's a sad reality, actually.
In my mind, it's extremely difficult and
sad.
I just wanted to be quite sort of candid with you all and really open up to the camera, and yeah, it's just pretty rubbish, but I'm still here and I'm still fighting daily, and I don't think I'm going to go anywhere very soon. But I just wanted to make this video, I think because I needed to have a bit of a rant really myself, but I hope that, you know, this may have given you a bit of an insight into my life. I don't know, but...
Yeah, it was actually close to the end, and I understand. Well, for me, I did this because I wanted to honor her in terms of she shared her story, and she was using basically the videos as a way to vent and also to share her story. Yeah, because a lot of the time we don't know exactly how it is in the experiential level. So this is basically saying that if you are 100% fine or 90%, not even 80% fine, you're not dealing with cancer. So there's a reason for you to be happy. There's a reason for you to basically keep enjoying life, because there are people who are basically having a worse day ever than you, and their worst day is not just worst days, worst days until their last days. So always be thankful for every day that you have, everything that you have, the fact that you are healthy, and rather that you are able, that you are not dealing with the same health challenge that she has. And I think that probably is the last video that I'm gonna make on Charlotte. And RIP to her. Her name was Charlotte Eats. She's British. All right, and let me see.
What? Toodaloo, motherfucker. Hey,
Subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.